Alright, this is in response to Sling&Stone. I will be playing a video in the background so that you'll have something to look at. I'm on my mobile phone, smartphone, whatever you want to call it. So I don't have really an ability to put together a really good video for you to watch. So I just play another video in the background. This video is not done by me. It's by someone else. I give you the link in the description. The thing that I just really wanted to say though was that I noticed that in your video you made the same, I'm just going to call it a mistake. You made the same mistake that a lot of people do, and that you discredit the information as well as the people, or because of the people. Things get conflated, you know. It's the same tactic, really. I don't think you really meant any harm by it, but it's the same thing that the SJWs do to conservative people. You know, your argument is invalid because you are a racist, bigot, homophobe, transphobe, or whatever else, rather than actually finding fault or finding proof to the contrary that what's being said is wrong. And what I noticed, a lot of commenters, it's typical really of these type of videos. Commenters would say, yeah, if your skin color doesn't matter, number one. Number two, if you're worried about skin color, you're demonic. And number three, it doesn't matter. Just those three things typically. And yeah, skin color doesn't really, if you're arguing that somebody said that skin color is a cause for people to be saved or unsaved, I don't think you're really going to find anybody who made that argument. You will find people who are saying that black people, quote, black people are the Jews, and if you're not a Jew, you're not going to be saved. Yeah, that's a different. That's not the same as saying skin color is the cause for salvation and not being saved. And you know, briefly, I went on a quick tangent. The whole thing about us being black. Anyway, we're not black. We're different. We're many shades of brown. I am a very, very, very light brown, and I'm not brown enough for some people, to be honest. But still, I'm considered black. Black as in not my skin color, but black as in evil, right? And of course, white people or Caucasian people are referred to as white, as in pure. So I understand that a lot of the pure people don't want to believe that the black evil people are Jews, but you know, that's the way they condition our minds to think. Whenever we hear of black Hebrew Israelites, we automatically think of something evil. So sorry if you can hear that rain in the background. I'm standing next to a wall. Hope it's not too bad. So moving on from there, there's also the issue of people saying, well, if you talk about race at all, then you're a racist, uh, or you're demonic. You know, the same way people can say, like you said in your video, you know that these people aren't the real Jews because all you have to do is look at the people who are over there now and see that they look nothing like the African Americans to discredit them or to disprove them. Well, you're pointing to skin color, you're pointing to the outward appearance, and it's okay to do that when you're disproving, but when you defend, then suddenly you're racist or you're demonic. You know, it's like you can use it to attack, but you can't use it to defend your position, and that's unfair. And what was that last point I made? Oh, when people say it doesn't matter at all. Well, it's like all things. Like someone else said, and I think I can't take credit for the quote, but I can't remember who said it. It matters because it's true. Right now we have probably, I don't know how many Christians who believe that the state of Israel over there is the actual Israel that God established, and they have no problem lending their support, their prayers, and their money and any other means of aid that they can to that state of Israel or to those people. So it does matter to them. It matters enough for them to actually pray for these people. It matters enough for them um, to just even emotionally or mentally support a certain group of people. And yet, when you're told that those people are not the actual people over there, but the people are actually the ones over here who are living in the ghettos, who are living in the projects, and those are the actual people, then suddenly it doesn't matter. And I think that that happens because there's a shift that has to happen in your mind, and you don't want to make that shift. And I'm speaking from experience. When uh, I first, it was a short while after, not a short while, it was a while after I was born again, truly born again, about 2013, when my cousin, a cousin of mine, he found me. I was posting some Christian things on Facebook, and he contacted me and said, well, you know, we're the real Jews, right? And the, of course, you may not believe this, but it's true. I actually tried to disprove him. I didn't believe it, and I didn't want to believe it really in my heart because I didn't want to believe that I had been lied to. I didn't want to believe that I had been deceived. So naturally, I tried to disprove him. And I was following Stephen Ben at the time, and I even have the Christians United for Israel mouse pad still. I was lending my support to them, and I was on board with all of that. And so I went through the Bible trying to find all the reasons why he was wrong, and and what else did I do? And I told him I also got to the point with him when I told him it didn't matter anyway. I said it doesn't matter. That's what I said to him. But as I continued to try to disprove him, I had to eventually reach a point where um, I had to be actually open minded to the truth as well. If open minded to the position that maybe I was wrong, and I did that, and I actually found enough evidence that actually he was right. We I believe he was right, and I had to change my position then. Now, unfortunately, my cousin had fallen in with a group that completely denied Christ. They were anti-Christ, and he was anti-Christ, and me and him fell out because he thought that Jesus was the white man's creation, that it was just another deception that was being pulled over our eyes, that our white slave masters, who happened to be Ashkenazi, the Jewish people who are over there in Israel now, the slave masters here in America, many of them were Ashkenazi, and the Bible does not say that the Jews will own slaves, that they will be slaves, they will be servants for breaking God's covenant. And those curses fell upon them, those Deuteronomy 28 curses. And so a lot of black people feel that Jesus and Christianity is a slave, another form of enslavement, and so they've become completely antichrist. Now, praise God, I didn't fall into that, though it was really tempting and it was very hard because once I had to consider that I had been deceived about other things, I also had to consider that maybe I had been deceived about Christ, and that was the hardest part. But um, I think that was part of the trap, though. So it's like they put these camps out there, like Another Brick in the Wall. His channel name is Another Brick in the Wall. His name is Joshua Trustclair. He has done great work on covering all of this. And ironically, I think he's one of the best teachers on this whole subject of the Hebrews, who the Hebrews are, and he's a white guy. He's not black, so that's kind of ironic that I think the best teacher so far that I have seen is actually not black, um, or not brown, I should say. And as he pointed out in his video, that there are so many traps laid for the people, for the African Americans here in America, that there was Islam, the black Islamic groups, and then there was just, you have the Canaanite Moors over here working with the Ashkenazi Jews, all setting traps for the African Americans, for that, so that we will fall into one trap or another. And so you think you finally find your identity while you're in America, because that's a question that black people have. So that's another reason why it does matter, because why are we in this? Why does it seem like we're the only people who don't have our own home, who don't have our own land to go to? And you say, well, just go back to Africa. Those Africans, the Canaanites, the Hamitic people, know we're not their people. It's not as simple as just going to Africa and just fitting right in, because you're not African. You're not really Hamitic. You're not those people. So that's another reason why it matters. Why does it seem like whenever black people say, well, we used to have kingdoms, we used to be great people, we get mocked at, we get laughed at, we get told, quit trying to take credit for other people's accomplishments, and we're told that we've accomplished nothing, and we are people who are spiritually and mentally um, stripped of everything. And it's almost like we're meant to believe that our only accomplishments have happened here in America, and even then, we still haven't accomplished much. And they will make fun of us for having been almost 400 years in America. I think 2019 will be 400 years, and we haven't really accomplished. We haven't established our own home, our own anything really. But that's the way it's going to be for people um, who are not at their home. So consider that. Where is our home? Where is the place where we call home? Why does it seem like we're the only people who don't have a place? And what was I going before that? So with my oh yeah, so with these camps out here, a lot of them have already been exposed as controlled opposition. IUIC is registered, um, tax registered in their tax. What do you call it? Anyway, they're registered as a Muslim organization or an Islamic organization. They're not even registered as a Christian organization. Anyway, I could tell from when I was first starting to learn about the Hebrew Israelites that they were not the group that I should be following. Thankfully, I had enough of Christ in me to know that I didn't need to be associated with those people at all, because all they talked about all the time was what the white man was doing. The white man, and white man. And the white man is the devil. The white man is this. And I was like, okay, this is not, this ain't right. So I moved on from that. But unfortunately, my cousin fell into that, and I don't think he ever. And I think eventually he eventually just went away from religion or spirituality at all. I haven't been in touch with him in a while, but I think he completely lost his way. And that's what these camps are put there to do. They're not there to lead us to the truth. You know, they don't want us to find the truth. And so, like a lot of these Canaanites, the I'm just going to call them, in my opinion, I believe they're Kenites from the line of Cain. Is my theory here, that it came through Ham's wife. Cain's bloodline survived through Ham's wife, and they became the um, the Egyptians and the Babylonians and all of that. And they're here in America too, among the Jews, the black people, African Americans, and they are leading us astray. And of course, you have Jews, Hebrew Israelites, who are also leading others astray. So there's traps everywhere. But yeah, bottom line, it doesn't matter for salvation. It doesn't matter for um, for God's relationship with you. God loves all of those, like Jesus Christ said, "Who is my mother, my brother? Who he who does the will of my Father." So we're all in His family. We're all His children. We've all received that adoption. So I mean, if His Spirit is in us, and if His Spirit is not in us, then we're none of His, and that's the bottom line. But as a matter of fact, or as a matter of truth, then we shouldn't dismiss it. We shouldn't say because the people are preaching a false gospel, therefore they are also they're also wrong about them being Israelites. That's not a fair judgment. So I think I'm about ready to wrap it up. I think I've covered almost everything. I haven't even really gotten into. I'm not trying to debate you about whether or not the blacks are the Israelites or not, because if I did that, then there would be too much to really talk about, and we're not really getting into all of that. So I'm just going to say that this video is only meant to get you to reconsider your position or the way you look at the situation, the way you look at it, not really to prove anything to you. So I hope in some way that this has been beneficial, and that you get something out of the video. So thanks for watching and listening, and Jesus bless you and everyone else who listens to the video.